Get somebody to help me before it's too late!
It is too late.
I can't be!
It won't do any good. You did everything you could.
Oh, no, it's awful!
No, son, you're holding it wrong. Now, I told you before, hold your arms steady. Use both eyes, sight, and turn your body sideways. Never hold a rifle that way. Always point it down. You want to hurt somebody? Now, go on, get your darts. Hello?
This is Chicago calling. Is this Mr. Eric Blau?
Yeah, this Blau.
Go ahead, please.
How is the hunting?
Just fine. I bagged my limit.
Accidental?
That's the way to look.
It's going to be beautiful.
I'm sorry, miss. I don't usually say this about anyone I work on, but I really must. It looks terrible.
No, I don't think so.
You had beautiful, natural blonde hair. Most women would do anything for hair like that.
Well, I got tired of it.
Well, I happen to be an artist, Miss Davis. It offends me to do something against my aesthetic sense.
It's my hair.
But it happened in my salon. It's my reputation you're risking.
Now, Mr. Paul, it's not as bad as all that.
Well, that depends on just how bad all that is.
When shall I make my next appointment?
Well, you'll need a touch-up in 2 weeks.
You know, it's obvious. A patrolman's life provides regularity and security. Gives a man a home life. Makes more sense than being a detective.
Oh, come on. The squadron's your home. I admit it.
Well, you know, that's true. I can't wait till I get to work every day. You know what I like especially about this place? The interior decoration, the decor. It's very restful. As a matter of fact, I find this job so rewarding, I may come to work without pay from now on.
No question about it. He makes the best speech in the department.
Who does?
Meyer. He grabs you right here.
Mean like indigestion? Meyer, how come you don't run the lineup?
You know, I was offered that job. I told him I'm needed right here in the 87th.
You talking about the mess, but you ain't by the beat, though.
was offered chief of the detectives, I told him no. I said, I'm loyal to the 87th squad.
Let's give him a medal.
Hospital, no. Morgue, no. Well, that's something. Well, that sounds very nice. That's not our girl. Okay, thank you, guys. Steve, like to see how the other half lives? Skylark Place.
Come on, Bert, let's live it up.
I'll make out the cards. I sent out a teletype on the girl with her description.
I gotta get a sign for my car. I got a parking ticket last week.
Yeah, what did you do?
I went into court and pleaded not guilty on my day off.
Did you get out of it?
Oh, yeah, sure, I was answering a squeal, but it took half the day.
Yeah. I got one more.
I don't even live here. You understand, I'm just the rental agent. I hope I'm not being an alarmist and being concerned about Miss Davis. Normally, there's nothing strange about a young girl staying away from home for a few days.
There isn't.
Oh, not a girl in her late 20s, who's all alone with no one to answer to. But when Mr. Wellman, that's the tenant across the hall, called to say that the newspapers and the mail was piling up outside of Miss Davis's door, I thought I'd better call the police.
Oh, you did the right thing, Mrs. Miller.
I'm glad you think so, Mr. Kling. Detective Kling. Actually, I've only seen her once. That was when she rented the apartment almost a year ago.
You've been very helpful, Mrs. Miller.
Well, I handle several other apartment buildings besides this one. Since I became a widow, business is my whole life. It fills the emptiness. Not entirely, of course. Nothing can take the place of a man, except another man. But then you wouldn't know, not being married.
Oh, well, I'm married. Kling doesn't know. He's not married.
Oh. Well,
Do you have any pictures of her in the other room, Mrs. Miller?
not that I know of. You can look, of course.
I'll look.
Could you give me a more detailed description of her, Mrs. Miller?
I'm sorry. All I remember is that she had dark hair and was rather nice looking. Like a lady. But then you never really know, do you?
What about boyfriends?
I don't know. I assume that she and Miss Thompson knew some young men.
Who's Miss Thompson?
Her house guest, Josie Thompson. She came to stay with Miss Davis about 6 months ago.
No pictures. Do you mind if I look around?
Not at all.
Could we talk to Miss Thompson?
Well, she isn't here either. All I know about her is that Miss Davis called me and said an old friend was coming from California to stay with her, and would there be any extra charge? I said, of course not. The apartment rented for so much she could have as many guests as she liked.
Did either of them have jobs?
Not that I know of. I presume Miss Davis had an income of some kind.
And you never saw Miss Thompson?
No.
Steve, City Trust.
We'll have to take these with us, Mrs. Miller. I'll give you a receipt. Any dentist bills?
No.
Well, what has her dentist got to do with it?
It's one of the best methods of identification, Mrs. Miller.
Oh, you don't think anything's happened to her?
We'll keep in touch with you. Thank you very much.
Well, I feel so secure knowing you. I hope that if I'm ever lost, you two will look for me.
Oh, we'd certainly try and find you, Mrs. Miller.
Well, here's my card. Please call me if there's any news or any question.
Thank you, Mrs. Miller.
Thank you.
If we were lost, I don't know where to look for it.
Takes two to tango.
I got a teletype out on Josie Thompson, too. Same thing could have happened to both of them. You better get a court order so you can go through the Davis girl's bank account.
Will do.
It'll keep you busy. Keep your mind off Mrs. Miller's troubles.
Some legs, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Just a minute. Hi.
What have you done to yourself?
Well, I got tired of looking the same. Don't you like it?
No, I sure don't.
Well, you'll get used to it. I'm still the same girl. Well?
Yeah, I guess you're Josie.
You're darn right I am. Everything's the same except the hair. Same mole on my back. Same gal. Still crazy for her fella.
Crazy, period.
Well, a little cougad spice.
You make me feel like I'm cheating.
Oh, don't you like that feeling? You should be delirious. You have 2 girls instead of 1. Now close your eyes. Turn around. Okay, you can open them now. And the package. Well, go ahead, open it. Put it on.
Josie, it must have cost a fortune.
$350 plus tax, to be precise. Ever since I saw it in the window, I wanted to buy it
Wait
for
a
you.
minute, Josie. You better explain what's going on. The hair? Moving to a hotel? This? I don't get it.
Okay. Come on, sit down. Remember 2 weeks ago when Claudia and I drove up to Triangle Lake?
Yeah?
Well, we were there 3 days, and Claudia had an accident. George, she drowned.
Oh.
I can talk calmly about it now, but when it happened, I went all to pieces.
Well, how did it happen?
She was out on the lake alone, and the canoe tipped over. Oh, I tried to save her, but I was too late. And then later, after it was all over, it came to me. I couldn't do anything for Claudia, but she could do something for me.
What do you mean?
Well, nobody knew us up there. I could bury Josie Thompson, and Claudia Davis would live.
What are you talking about?
Claudia had an income for life. I didn't have a penny to my name.
Wait a minute. You don't mean what I think you mean.
Yes, I do.
But it's not your money. It's hers. You can't do that.
Well, she wouldn't leave it to anybody else. She had no family, no relatives. I was her best friend. I was closer to her than anybody in the whole world.
Josie, you can't do it.
Why not? It isn't hurting anybody.
You know, I was crazy about that poor blonde, Josie. I asked her to marry me on my $100 a week. Who needs all this?
I need it. I've always been the poor girl with the rich friends. Well, now that I've had a taste of money, I don't just like it. I'm starved for it.
But it's crazy, and it's dishonest, and you'll never get away with it.
Why not? Claudia and I always looked alike. Everybody said we did except for our hair. Well, now I do look enough like her to pass for her. We're both from California. Nobody ever really knew us here. And you know how shy Claudia was. But George, I've got it all figured out. I know I can get away with it. I'm going to move back to the apartment tomorrow.
Sooner or later, someone's bound to catch on.
We'll go to Europe on our honeymoon. And if we like it, we'll stay there. Oh, please, George, don't make me give it all back. I've already applied for my passport. If you loved me poor, you'll adore me rich. I'll prove it to you. Say you'll go for your passport tomorrow. Promise?
Mr. Anderson, isn't it your bank's policy to report large deposits and withdrawals to the police? Not unless there's some cause of suspicion. Besides, I didn't consider that a large withdrawal. Well, now, according to your records, Miss Davis withdrew $2,000 in cash the day before she left on her trip. Isn't that a large amount of money? I don't think so. Not with an account her size. Now, also according to your records, Miss Davis has been making out and cashing checks since her disappearance. If you say so. Your machines say so. Now, here are 17 checks. Various department stores, Sydney, Courtney, Howard Oblinsky, Shea Paul's Beauty Salon. I'd like to photostat those checks. May I see that court order again, please? You don't seem to be too willing to cooperate, Mr. Anderson. All right. I'll have Miss Norris photostat those checks for you. You want all of them? All. After the 21st of the month. Very well. Will you send Miss Norris over, please? Right.
Yeah, that's right. Had no right being out in the lake in June. Water's icy cold. Probably gave her cramps or something. Anyway, she's drowned. You got a death certificate? Sure thing. Dr. Dinelli did the autopsy. Penal Law 2213. He reported cause of death as drowning. He did indeed. You see, there was a witness. Oh? Yeah, fisherman fellow from the city, too. It's all here in the folder. Courtney. Got his address in town. We don't do things by halves up here. Right about there's where the other girl, Miss Davis, told us she was when she heard the scream. Is that where they rent the boats? Yeah. Getting ready for the season. Let's take a look. What did this Courtney say about it? Well, he said Miss Thompson fell overboard and went under like a stone. Said Miss Davis jumped in the water and began swimming toward her, but she didn't make it in time. Cold water almost got her, too. Few people on the lake today. Yeah, locals. They know the boats and know how to swim. Huh? Now, which canoe was Miss Thompson using? Well, I don't know. Di?
Yeah,
Di, that girl that drowned, what canoe did she use?
that right there. It's got a couple of patches on it. I put it aside till I could finish mending it.
Hey, what was wrong with it?
Well, it had a couple of holes in the bottom of it.
Could have been a rock, huh, Si?
No, I don't think so. It didn't look like a rock.
Could have been a bullet hole?
Well, yes. You speak of it, I think it could have been a bullet hole.
Why didn't you tell me, Si?
You didn't ask me?
Now look, Mr. Detective, that hole might have been caused by anything. The one thing we do know, there was no bullet hole in Miss Thompson. If there'd been a shot, somebody'd heard it. Si?
Yeah.
Did you see it happen?
No, wasn't here.
Now look, I told you.
Who was? Nobody. You see, the season hadn't opened. We wasn't expecting any customers. They just come and help themselves.
Chief, I want to take this canoe back to town with me. Will you let me put it on top of my car? Mr. Detective, you don't want to solve anything. You just want to make this country boy look bad. Chief, I've still got a missing girl. Now, I've got to know if I'm looking for some sweet young thing who might have been kidnapped or a murderess. Now, you want to help me put this on my car? Hello?
Long distance calling.
Long distance?
Mr. Eric Blau,
Yeah, this Eric Blau.
here's your party. Go ahead, please.
I thought you'd like to know. Claudia Davis endorsed and cashed a dividend check after her accident.
Impossible. Must be a forgery.
The bank okayed it. They know their business.
So do I.
I'll find out. I'll be there tomorrow.
Come on, finish your prunes.
How many thumbs can a man have?
Why don't you find a girl that can type, like I did?
Hi. Mine can't even read.
What do you say, Steve? Have fun at the lake?
I got some news. How'd you make out of the bank?
I got some names there. What'd you bring back?
The canoe.
All my life I wanted a canoe.
You know, this one's got some holes in it.
I'll get it mended.
After ballistics sees it, huh? You got a check there for a man named Courtney?
Yeah. $125.
Sidney Courtney.
Yeah. I endorsed it and cashed it. Why?
Do you mind answering a few questions?
I'd like to see your badge. I'm on the way to work. Is it about that miserable building permit again?
What building permit?
I'm extending my garage. I'm having a sweet time getting a permit. You'd think I was trying to build a skyscraper.
Who is it, Sid?
nothing. Never mind, Beth. My wife. Are you married?
Yes, sir, I'm married.
Then you know. What are your questions?
You want to explain this?
Explain what?
Explain why Claudia Davis sent you a check for $125.
As a recompense.
Recompense for what?
Missing 3 days' work. What the places do you think?
Mr. Courtney.
I lost 3 days on account of that stupid inquest. I'm a house painter. I get $5 an hour. She was good enough to send me a check for $125.
Did you know Claudia Davis before that day at Triangle Lake?
I never saw her before in my life. Say, what is this? Am I on trial here?
Sydney, is anything wrong? Are you in trouble?
Nothing's wrong.
What about the other girl, Josie Thompson? Did you know her?
No.
That's your whole story.
Go read it in the inquest if you're so interested.
Well, I've got a copy of the inquest right out here.
Good, then I can go to work.
Oh, that can wait, Mr. Courtney.
Like nothing it can. This job's on the other side of town.
Mr. Courtney, we don't want to have to go all the way back downtown and bring back a warrant for your arrest.
Arrest? For what?
Sydney! Sydney, shall I call the police?
Oh, shut up! I'm up to my ears in cops, and she wants to call the police. What do you want from me? I'm an honest painter. I saw a girl drown. Is that a crime?
Did you hear any shots, Mr. Courtney?
Shots? Why should I hear shots? I told you she drowned. No wonder you guys never solve a case. Well, I mean, almost never.
What happened after the inquest?
Well, nothing much. Miss Davis said she'd send me a check for the time I missed. I figured she could afford it, driving a brand new car and hiring a feller to take her back to the city.
Why didn't she drive it back herself?
Well, I don't know. I guess she was still a little shaken. Listen, that was a terrible experience she had. Did you ever see anybody die?
Yes, sir, I did.
Sydney! You tell those men to get off our lawn!
You heard her.
Then what happened? So he threw a knife at me. Where were you at the time? Over by the pig's feet.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
This came for you. Ballistics report.
Thanks, Ray.
Exactly where are the pig's feet?
Holes made by a high-powered rifle. No make on the gun, but from the size and shape of the holes, it was more than a .45 caliber.
2 shots, high trajectory.
Thank you. 4 messages for you, Bert. 3 from Claire and 1 from Mrs. Miller.
Oh, the widow lady. What's on her mind?
2 words. Forget it. Claudia Davis is back, and Mrs. Miller said to tell the big blonde detective that if he has any further questions, she'll be home all evening.
Well, he doesn't have, but I do. Come on, let's see what Claudia Davis looks like.
Right.
Columbus 5, 7098.
Hello?
This Claudia Davis? This is Bob McClintock. I just got into town.
Why, Mr. McClintock. It's good to hear your voice.
I'm anxious to see you after all these years. Can you have dinner with me tonight? Well, how about tomorrow?
I'll come by this evening, but not for dinner. Thank you for calling. My executor. He's just come into town. Oh, now where was I? Oh, yes. Well, I started to go under. I didn't think I was going to make it. And then this Mr. Courtney grabbed me and pulled me out. Well, that's it. I don't understand. The coroner's inquest said it was an accident. Why are the city police involved?
Well, because you disappeared.
But I've explained that. I was so upset, I couldn't bear the idea of coming back here where Josie and I had lived together.
Miss Davis, you don't happen to have a bruise on your right shoulder, do you?
I don't think so. Why?
Because somebody shot at Josie Thompson.
Oh, Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, no, that's impossible. I would have hurt it. Why do you want to see my shoulder?
Well, the recoil may have left a bruise.
You don't think I did it?
Somebody put 2 holes in that boat. Somebody was trying to kill Josie Thompson.
Well, why would anyone want to kill her?
That's our question.
Well, maybe it was a rock or a boy playing games. You know how boys are. Shooting BBs.
These were made by a long-range rifle. And if you didn't hear it, then it was a silencer. Then it's not a game, it's murder.
Can we see the shoulder, please?
Does that satisfy you?
Unless you're left-handed.
No, I'm not, but...
And you don't know any reason why somebody would want to kill Josie Thompson?
No.
Did she have any money?
Well, she was poor as a church mouse.
Was she stepping on anybody's toes, a wife, a man?
No, I don't think so. I'm sure you're wrong. It was an accident.
No one shoots holes in a canoe with a young girl in it for practice. Somebody wanted to murder her.
I can't believe that.
Thank you.
Well, if you can think of anything that might help us, let us know. Thank you, Miss Davis.
Remembers. I get 1 million people a day in this place. They pay me by cash. They pay me by check. I get fat ones and skinny ones and pretty ones and ugly ones. They all look alike on my pictures. Lousy. Mugshots, all of them. So how could I remember this, what's her name?
Claudia Davis.
Claudia Davis. No, she's just another face to me. She dead or something?
No.
Then what's the fuss?
No fuss. No fuss. Thanks a lot. I've got a phone.
Help yourself. But I close in 5 minutes.
I'll just take a minute. The squad room. Yeah, hello, Meyer. This is Steve. Is Kling there?
Steve. Yes, Steve.
She had a picture taken. Could be for a hunting license or a passport. I'll check it out when the bureau's open tomorrow. Did you get the make on Claudia?
Yeah, nothing. She had a moving traffic violation, 1958, 75 in a 45 zone. Nothing else. Okay, Steve, that does it. Sleep well. Hey, you're all decked out. I was going to take you to that little Italian joint.
Well, I have to see Mr. McClintock. He's my executor, the man who handles my money.
You can't do that.
I have to. Now, stop worrying, George. He hasn't seen Claudia since she was 12. And I know all the answers.
You're just asking for trouble.
That's not the problem. The police were here. They say that someone killed Claudia on purpose.
Killed her?
Someone shot 2 bullets into the canoe.
Josie, if the killer thinks that Claudia's still alive...
That's what I've been thinking. Suppose they try again.
Well, that's it. You've got to give up this whole crazy scheme now.
I'm leaving on the noon flight tomorrow for Paris. Now, as soon as you get your passport, you join me. I'll cable you where I'm staying. Oh, don't you give me trouble.
Josie, look, why don't you go to the police? Tell them the whole story. It isn't too late.
I'm not giving up that easy.
It's better to be alive.
I'm going to be alive and rich. It's worth the risk.
I had no idea you were like this. You're real cool, aren't you?
No, I'm scared to death. Oh, George, hold me tight.
You absolutely sure you want to go through with this?
I'm sure. Just one more day. That's all it takes. Till noon tomorrow.
All right. I'll pick you up at 11 and take you to the airport.
You don't have to.
I want to.
Paris that summer we had the house in Carmel. I was so impressed because your shoes just fit me. My mother always said you had aristocratic hands and feet.
Your mother was a charming woman. They were both wonderful people. Ah, it's true. The good die young. What a tragedy. I asked you to come not only because I was curious to see you again, but for another reason. I wanted to talk a little business with you.
Oh, I'm afraid I'm not very good at business.
You don't have to be. As a matter of fact, you know, your parents trusted me implicitly.
Of course. So do I.
Well, I've just run onto something first rate. Absolutely safe and almost bound to double your money inside of 2 or 3 years.
Well, you do what you think is right. You know you have my permission.
I wouldn't dream of touching the principal, but I was hoping perhaps you wouldn't draw your income for, say, a year. That's the money I'd like you to gamble with. And, of course, if you have any cash to spare.
Why, I can't do it.
I'm sorry to hear that.
But no, I'm going to Europe, and I plan to live on the income.
Well, at least I tried. Freshen your drink?
Oh, no, thank you.
When are you leaving?
Tomorrow.
So soon? Where will you be staying?
Oh, I'll be traveling. Sort of the grand tour, something like Mother and I did when I was a child.
Must be wonderful to be a charming young lady in Europe. You'll be very popular, I'm sure.
Oh, thank you, Mr. McClintock.
You sure you can't stay for dinner?
Oh, no, I have to pack and a lot of odds and ends. But I'm glad to have seen you again. Tell me, have I changed a lot?
Older and prettier, perhaps, but otherwise just the same.
Oh, you say just the right thing. You're a dear.
Thank you. Bon voyage, my dear.
Thank you.
She can't be. I tell you she is. She was just here. Here's her address. 13 Skylark Place, apartment 5A. And don't make any more mistakes. You have very little time.
Morning, Steve. Sleep well?
Like a baby.
Yeah, I know. Cried all night.
Unless you got a passport, that's what the picture is for.
What do you think?
I don't know, boy. I'm running out of ideas. All I know is somebody shot at her friend Josie. And if Claudia Davis didn't do it, who did? And why?
Run down all those checks?
Yeah, all but 2. First one is made out to Howard J. Oblinsky.
So you traced me through the check, huh? Phone company gave you my number and my address, huh? Now, I'm enlisted. They ain't supposed to do that.
It's all perfectly legal, Mr. Oblinsky.
Oh, yeah? Well, suppose the cops called and asked for Marlon Brando's number. You think they'd give him that? Baloney. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
What's the reason for the unlisted number, Mr. Oblinsky?
It's very classy. Didn't you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Sure.
Why did Claudia Davis give you this check?
Weekdays, I work for the cab company. Sundays, I'm on my own. A couple of weeks ago, I got a call from this friend of mine up in Triangle Lake. It seemed there's some rich dame that needs somebody to drive a car back to the city. He couldn't do it, so he asked me. So, I took the train up there and drove her back. You know, it burns me up about the telephone company. Now, they shouldn't give out my number like that. Suppose it was Marilyn Monroe. Do you think they'd give out her number? Boy, I'm gonna raise a stink about this, believe me.
I suppose she was pretty distraught on the way back home, huh?
Come again?
Well, you know, not too coherent.
Huh? Broken up, crying, hysterical. Oh, no, she was okay.
What I mean is she wasn't capable of driving herself back.
Yeah, that's why she hired me.
Well, then
But not because she was broken up or anything.
why? Did you have a lot of luggage? You needed your help with that?
Well, it was both hers and a friend's. A friend was drowned, you know.
Yeah, we know.
But anybody could have helped her with the luggage. She really needed me. Why? Because she can't drive, that's why.
No, you're wrong. She got a ticket in 1958.
Look, I don't know anything about no tickets. All I know is she can't drive. While I was putting the luggage back in the trunk compartment, I asked her to start the car. She couldn't even do that.
Thank you very much.
Why'd she lie to us, saying she couldn't drive?
Maybe she wasn't lying.
I'm going to see her again.
One more stop first.
Yes, sir, I'm Mr. Paul. That's a very nice job. That blonde hair, very professional. And that wave. Well, I hate to disappoint you, but I was born with it. Oh.
A woman named Claudia Davis came in here on the 21st. Could you tell us what you remember about her?
Miss Davis. Claudia Davis. Yes, a very pretty blonde.
No, a brunette. You're thinking of the wrong person.
No, I'm thinking of the right person. I remember.
A brunette.
When she left. But when she came in, a blonde. A natural blonde. It's very rare.
You dyed her hair.
That is correct.
Did she tell you why she wanted to dye?
No, sir. I argued with her. I said, you have beautiful hair. I can do marvelous things with this hair of yours. You are a blonde, my dear. She wouldn't listen. So, I dyed it for her.
What else did you do?
Cut, set. She had long hair. Beautiful, long, blonde hair.
It's Josie Thompson.
Switched for the money.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Paul. You may have saved a life.
I'm all ready.
Trembling.
I've got cold feet. Oh, George, you will join me. You wouldn't...
I don't like it, but I'll be there as soon as I can.
Thank you.
Are you sure it's worth all this?
It's got to be.
Do you have everything?
Yes, I think so. Oh, I better close the window.
ABW sniper. I fired rifle on rooftop area 13 Skylark Place.
Roger.
so watch it. Get off the street, come on. You, come with me.
I'm sorry. We're looking for somebody. Now, go ahead.
We only had an idea what he looks like. Hey, what's happening? What's this all about?
I'm sorry, I'll have to ask you to put your hands up.
Why?
That's a lot.
Now, wait a minute.
Yeah, I would have done the same thing in your place. If I was shooting a high-powered rifle, I'd use a shoulder pad. But I think in your place, I would have taken it off when I was finished. Come on.
And that brings us up to where you picked me up.
Okay, well, I'll sign it.
This is outrageous. I insist you allow me to call my attorney.
I believe you two know one another, huh?
I never saw this man.
You can save it, McClintock. We've already got full confession from him. We know who and we know how. All we want from you is why.
May I sit down?
Yes, sir.
You have no idea why?
Yeah, it's my guess that you're running out of Claudia Davis's money.
As a matter of fact, the account was all gone 6 months ago. I've been scraping together enough to keep the account going till I could think of something to do.
Well, would you like to tell the whole sad story to Detective Klein here? Stenographer.
Detective Corral?
Yeah, what is it?
The lieutenant said he thought it'd be all right if we got married right away, before the...
Whose idea is that?
Mine.
I'm afraid you won't have your honeymoon for a while.
That's all right, we can wait. We've got a long time ahead of us.
I know just what you must think of me. I don't have any excuses for what I did.
We see a lot worse. Come on, sit down, Josie. All right, let's go, mister. '87th Precinct, Detective Meyer.